Hello YouTube. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about fighting for our candidates and managing our expectations, and this sort of malaise that has developed during this campaign. I feel like in the last couple months there has been just a really down feeling about the campaign in general. And I mean, I've seen it among YouTube, like people posting less videos and just sort of being a little more blah in their videos. And in myself, like I wasn't wanting to watch any media about this. It just felt like the same thing again and again. And, you know, I already wasn't watching mainstream media. So what I have been hearing from the older generation in my life is, you know, oh, I don't want to pay too much attention. I just want to vote for whoever is the nominee. I just don't want to have Trump again. And, you know, this attitude is so frustrating because I feel like that's why we got Trump in the first place. People voted for Hillary Clinton because I just don't want to have Trump. And like, let's remember how that worked out. And, you know, we have all this mainstream media pushing this idea, well, but just make sure you vote for whoever's the nominee. It's like, yeah, of course we're going to vote for whoever's the nominee. The overwhelming majority of us will vote for whoever is the nominee. The people who are not going to vote for whoever's the nominee, there might be some people on the far left who will vote for the independent candidate if they don't, if Bernie does not get nominated. And there certainly will be independents that will not vote for the moderate. There are going to be Republicans who voted for Trump who are not going to vote for the moderate, who has been bad-mouthing Trump for the last 2 years. That doesn't say that, you know, Sanders and other progressives aren't critical of Trump, but, you know, the criticism is measured and only given when it's needed to, because the more we talk about Trump, the bigger problem it becomes. I mean, the bigger he becomes. And just all this fear centered around the electability candidate, it's counterproductive. Fear is always counterproductive. And if you are picking a candidate because you love them and you support them, you're never going to go wrong with that. You know, picking a candidate out of love and passion, it's going to push our country forward. And I have news for you. Electing Donald Trump has pushed our country forward. We have had like 6 progressive candidates in this election. Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, Andrew Yang, Tom Steyer, Tulsi Gabbard, Marianne Williamson. 6. That's 6 progressive, clearly in the progressive camp. Now, I'm not happy with Tulsi Gabbard and Marianne Williamson, who I think are some of the most progressive because they have backtracked on Medicare for All, and I don't find that to be okay in any sense of the world. But that's pretty amazing that we have people putting out big ideas and big change, and it's a big percentage of the candidates. Now, a lot of those candidates got knocked down off of the debates, and you know, Tulsi Gabbard talked about boycotting this debate after she made it, and you know, I thought that was a little silly, and it was just a little too late, because the real problem was when Mike Gravel did not make it into the second race. In the second race, the second debate, excuse me. In the second debate, the qualifications were either, I think it was 2% in 3 polls, or 65,000. It was 2 polls, 2% in 2 polls. Sorry, I don't remember the percentage, but, or 65,000 donors. And he received the 65,000 donors, and they decided that, you know, he was the only candidate who had gotten the 65,000 donors, but not the polling. The other candidates who made it in had gotten the polling, but not the 65,000. And they decided, oh, the polling is more important. And that was the moment to stand up. The fact that, you know, Marianne Williamson, Tulsi Gabbard, Bernie Sanders, Marianne Williamson, Andrew Yang didn't stand up at that point and say, we are boycotting if you do not let Mike Gravel in, who earned his way on your rules. That is when it all went wrong, when no one stood up for Mike Gravel. And it was a weird campaign. It was really run by teenagers, but that doesn't matter. They earned their way in, and they did not get what they should have. And we really missed an opportunity to protest then. At that point, we had accepted that the DNC was going to operate unfairly. And the truth is they have, you know, and we also accepted that polls were going to be more important than donations. And, you know, look, we have Trump, so we know that polls are not the most important factor in whether a presidential candidate is going to be elected. But, you know, at this point, the arguments seem, you know, like a sore loser, because we're not talking about, my daughter's yelling. We're not talking about, yeah, anyway, so I think we've missed our opportunity because we are not talking about, because we didn't take up the charge then to fight. So unfortunately, we're stuck with these polls that are conducted on phones. So they're the same people who exclusively watch the mainstream media, where, you know, Bernie Sanders quote was attributed to Elizabeth Warren in several publications, traced back to the Washington Post's transcript. And in many of the publications, in Boston.com and New York Magazine's Intelligencer, they corrected it and said this was originally attributed to Warren, even though it was Sanders' quote. The NBC thing that did it, they basically just disappeared it, so they didn't have to say we did wrong. And the transcript from the Washington Post, it just says that the transcript was updated. They don't seem to feel any sort of responsibility. The media doesn't seem to feel any sort of responsibility towards unbiased news. And, you know, this is in hours after the debate, when people might be searching for you, and people who didn't see the debate are going to be looking either to the transcript or the news disseminated from that transcript. You know, they're probably not going to see that correction, especially since it wasn't made forcefully. And, you know, the Washington Post has not taken responsibility for that or other, you know, wrongdoings against Bernie Sanders. And it really makes me think that Bernie Sanders should join the suit that Tulsi has against Google. And her beef was that just after the debate, when after the first debate, when she was the most Googled candidate, her ad account was shut down. They could not buy ads. They couldn't capitalize on the fact that they were being searched for. And, you know, she was not saying that this was necessarily malicious, but whether or not it was malicious, it was negligent. And I would say the same thing for the Washington Post in this case. Although, you know, the Washington Post has given Sanders Pinocchios and refused to take them back, even though he was quoting the same quote they've had in their own articles. You know, the media is unapologetically biased against Sanders. And, you know, while blaming Sanders for Hillary Clinton losing in 2016 and saying, oh, we just have to vote for whatever candidate. Oh, people got so upset about Bernie. Like, no, people were upset because they were lied to. People were upset because it was corrupt. People were upset because it was not right. People can feel when things are wrong, when things are corrupt. And our country is corrupt. Trump is corrupt, but he is by far not the only one. And the fact that we can't even talk about Biden's son taking money from these boards and, you know, the China stuff, we're not supposed to talk about it. These are the things we need to talk about. He should be saying, sorry, I shouldn't have done that. I should have known better to separate myself more fully. It doesn't mean what he did was criminal. It just means that it wasn't right. And, you know, this media bias against Bernie is not right. And blaming him for electing Hillary is not right. And, you know, we know that most of the blame for electing Donald Trump belongs to you, mainstream media. You know, you showed him again and again and again. He was so entertaining. We love to hate him. And look, he's president now. I was living in India during the election, and I was not involved in the election. I was not paying attention. And I would have people walking into our restaurant on the beach in India, tourists, European tourists, and saying, oh my God, you're American. Did you hear what Trump did today? Oh my God, did you hear what Trump did today? And, you know, I'd hear these crazy stories, and I just dismiss it. Like, obviously, this guy is not going to be elected. But the fact that I was hearing these crazy stories on the other side of the country from people on the other side of the country, I mean, the entertaining factor of Donald Trump, we know this. We know that the media holds the blame for electing Donald Trump. So, you know, it's time to hold the media to account. And all of you older generation out there that are watching, you know, MSNBC, watching NBC, watching ABC, watching all these mainstream news organizations that are all owned by the same person, who are propagating the same lies or partial truths, or, you know, just leaving people out, or, you know, saying Tulsi is a Assad toady, or, you know, even the Daily Show, even Stephen Colbert, they're propagating these partial truths and you know, standing on this platform of really being truly progressive, when, you know, we know where their pockets are lined, and that has to be taken into account. And it is really sad that it is hard to find media that is unbiased, or at least honest about their bias. So I'm honest. I wouldn't call myself news media, but I am media, and I am honest. I am a progressive. I'm a fighter for the people. I believe that the most wealthy country in the world can provide for its citizens. You know, people say America is the strongest country in the world. We're going to go beat your asses. But the second we ask to take care of our own people, oh no, that might bankrupt us. Oh no, that might bring us down. Oh no, look what happened to Europe. No, we were always strong economically. We have been for the last decades. And we, you know, in my opinion, we just toppled the whole world economically by having such lax financial policies. And then we regained faster than anyone, because we are super strong, we're super tough, we can do socialized medicine, and we can do it better than the rest of the world. I have 100% faith in us, and we can give our citizens dignity and the basics, and we can do it better than the rest of the world. So let's do it. Come on, let's fight.